Hey guys, this is just a quick tips video on a question that I've seen asked in a lot of places, not necessarily on YouTube, but for beginners or even people who have been using makeup for a while but have been caught in kind of a rut of the same makeup and are looking to broaden their horizons. The question is, how do I know what products, what colors, what brands are going to be good for me? And there are several things you can do to educate yourself, so you don't wind up spending a lot of money and stuck with it at home and none of it works for you. Especially if you're on a budget like me, you can't really afford to spend money on makeup that, isn't right for you, whether it's the color, texture, whatever. First is know your basic types of products and kind of like the makeup terminology, because this would prevent so many mishaps. I've seen so many bad reviews written for products where the person was expecting one thing and the product did something else and they didn't like it, but in reality the product was only doing what it was supposed to do. For example, I see a lot of people leave bad reviews on 10 moisturizers because they say they don't provide full coverage. And I'm just sitting here, reading these reviews like that's not what they're meant for. They do provide a light coverage. They are an alternative to foundation, but but most of them do not provide as much coverage as foundation. So if you need something that's full coverage, don't get a 10 moisturizer. If you're very beginner to makeup, some books that can help you are Carmendi's 5-Minute Face. That one's really simple, really basic for beginners. It will go over different types of products and when to use them, just their basic purpose. And then I think it also has some easy wearable looks, and in the back it has a list of high-end and low-end products for each type. I think she has her favorite high and low-end liquid foundation, high and low-end mineral, all that kind of fun stuff. Another book is by Kevin Okwa. Actually, I have his book, Making Faces, but he has a couple others that I think are good, and that just goes over them in a little bit more detail and shows some more advanced looks. Second, know your own coloring and skin type. And some people, that's really easy for them to figure out. They can do it, in 5 seconds and just have an answer. Some people get more confused. Now, if that's you, definitely seek out the help of professionals. There are several, some of those books that I mentioned before or other beauty books could kind of help you determine that on your own, but if you're still doubtful, go to a makeup counter or go to a store like Sephora or The Body Shop or Ulta and have the salespeople help you, and they'll be more than happy to do it, and of course recommend products that would be good for your coloring or skin type or whatever it is. But especially when you're buying skincare, but then foundation too, your skin type can be so important. Because, different liquid foundations or mineral foundations or whatever do react differently to different types of skin. And it's important to know that and figure out which one works best for you. And then, knowing your coloring, I know most people can, tell their eye color and where they fall in the basic range of foundations, whether they're fair, light, medium, dark, whatever. But know if you're warm or cool toned, and that can help a lot. If you have trouble figuring it out, go to a counter. I wouldn't recommend MAC because their foundation system with warm and cool tone can be kind of confusing for some people because it's kind of backwards. But go to Sephora, go to Clinique, go to Bobbi Brown, Laura Mercier, Bare Essentials if you like mineral makeup. Just find a store or a counter that you think can help you and that you're comfortable with. I think that all the counters kind of give off a different vibe. Go with which one you're comfortable with. Next, read the product description. This is very, very important because a product will not always say it's a tinted moisturizer or it's a highlighter or whatever. And you might have to read it to try and figure that out. I know I think it's the Revlon Beyond Natural and the Almay Smart Shade are both tinted moisturizers. They're not going to provide that much coverage, while the commercial kind of lists them more as being foundations. I don't think they really are. So, read the description. Don't get mad if the description says it's going to give you a glowy look or, useful usually means glowy, shimmery. Don't get mad if the description says that and then, you're disappointed because you're not totally matte. Just read the description. Second, read reviews. You know, Makeup Alley is a great place to read reviews, especially because you can sort it by skin tone, skin type, all that kind of thing, so you can read reviews from people who are similar to you. Which I found really handy because, you know, if you're looking at a foundation and you have really oily skin, you don't want to be sitting there reading 50 reviews by people who have really dry skin, because their experience will probably be different. I know Amazon has makeup reviews, YouTube obviously, Sephora just added them, but I'm not quite sure how accurate they are yet because some websites do kind of weight their reviews in their favor or delete negative reviews. So we'll see how that works out. And if you're buying online, especially from a company where you haven't seen the colors in real life, view swatches online. I know Spectra, the MAC site, kind of has a bunch of, obviously, MAC and high-end brands on their forums. You know, or Google it, or look on Makeup Alley, just do something. Because so many websites are so inaccurate in their colors, especially if you're buying cheap makeup, Cherry Culture. Their swatches aren't that accurate, and I have to find myself, you know, going through pictures that other people who own these have posted, or videos on YouTube of swatches, so I can see if the color is accurate. And then lastly, after you've bought it, or while you're buying it, if you're still unsure, you're kind of like, you know, on that fence about the product, first of all, buy it at somewhere where you know their return policy is good. I know that drugstores and kind of Ulta have a reputation for being easier to return drugstore makeup than Target. Like, Target has a really bad reputation where it's pretty much, if it's not within 30 days and it's original packaging, which means not used at all, not opened, then they pretty much won't give you a refund. So you can't go buy makeup at Target, try it on once, and then return it really easily. You know, if it's high-end, make sure you buy it from, I guess, Sephora or a counter that has a good return policy, and you know they do. If it is high-end, you can also look into swapping it if it's in demand. I know that's a popular choice for a lot of people. Again, you kind of have to decide if it's worth it, because if you're swapping, you are paying the cost of the item plus the cost of shipping, where, as some people, you know, if you return it, you just get all your money back. But, you know, it depends on your preferences. I've been swapping for 9 months now and love it. So, there you guys go. If you guys have any more questions on, you know, how to choose the right products for you or anything else, just leave me a comment or send me a message. I really do hope this helps some of you guys, especially those of you who are just starting out with makeup. Bye, guys.